to go home. And I walked out first down the stairs, followed by Jordan. And I got downstairs. Adrian was waiting for me inside there. And when he saw us, he asked me, how was your night? And I said, it was good. It was good. And I said, Jordan is going to walk with us. Is that okay? And he goes, yeah, sure. So Adrian, my fiance, opened the door which leads to the street, opens the door for me, and I walked out. And I remember the first thing I heard was a male voice. I assumed it was directed to me because I was out the door. And he just said, yo girl, I'm talking to you. I look up, and it was the same guy that was staring at me from the bar and was in the club, the same guy, and he's pointing at me and calling me to come over there. And I remember the feeling I got. I didn't feel comfortable with that situation. You know, by now it's about 2:20, 2:30. The club's closed. There's only staff in there and Adrian, because he came to pick me up and they know me. And there's still a cab in front of the club, and the same guys that were in the club were right there. It just made me feel very uncomfortable. And by then, my fiance, Adrian, had come out the door with Jordan, and he came around my left side, and so I grabbed onto him instantly. I just grabbed onto him. Like I linked my arms with him, and Jordan came around and grabbed my right arm. I guess she heard that they were calling me, so she grabbed my right arm, and we walked away from them. And I can remember the same voice calling, saying, yo girl, I'm talking to you, don't you hear me? And all I could think about was just, if you just put your head down and ignore him, he'll get the picture and just leave you alone. And we're walking, and he's getting very angry, and he's calling, yo girl, effing ho, I'm calling you. And by that, Adrian heard that, and he turned around and bent his head down to see eye to eye with this guy that was, calling, like just yelling and calling me names. So Adrian said, please, this is my lady. And we just continued walking. We ignored him. And then I could remember him saying, look at this effing N. Effing N mean, I don't even want to say that word because it just doesn't make sense why he would be calling Adrian, who's white, that word. But he called him. And he said, who does he think he's talking to? And we're walking and trying to just mind our own business. And even Adrian turned to me and said, why is he calling me that? And we just kept walking. But I remember hearing the cab door slamming. And I turned around, being curious. I turned around and I see this same guy coming out of the cab. He's out of the cab now. And now followed by another guy, one of their friends, comes out of the cab, and the other one making his way around. So now there's three of them, and they're approaching. And the first guy that was calling me names just kind of hit his chest and said, do you know who I am? In my neighborhood, I'll have you beaten down. And I'm thinking, wow, this is not good. Let's go. So I grabbed onto Adrian's. I tightened my hold on him. I said, come on, let's go. And at the same time, Jordan was very nervous, and she said, that's the guy. Those are the guys that were bugging me in the club. Let's go. Come on. And so we're walking. And the reason why we're walking is because we're catching the streetcar. And that year, there was a big construction on that road on King Street, so everything was blocked off, and we had to walk towards Spadina to catch the streetcar to go around. And usually the subway stops right in front of the club, and we climb on and go home. But because there was construction there, they blocked that street off, and we had to walk a little bit of a distance to get to Spadina to grab the streetcar to go home. And this guy, 3 of them are out, and they're walking towards us and approaching. And they were, it's amazing how fast they moved. I don't know if because they had long legs or whatever, but before I knew it, when we turned back, before I knew it, and we were walking, the guy was right there, like he had blocked our way, and he was standing right in front of Adrian's face, right? And he went to swing at Adrian, and Adrian ducked his head, and it just kind of missed him. And at the same time this was going on, one of his friends was sneaking behind Adrian, like trying to get in position behind Adrian. And the other one was on his side, the side of him across from me. So Adrian's blocked in now. It's like a semicircle. He's right in the middle. And the very vocal guy was in front of Adrian, and the other one was behind him. And the one across from him, I just remember him being very big and tall, standing across from him. So Adrian's blocked now, and I'm still holding on to his arm. And I guess Adrian knew that the third guy that was behind him, he knew that he was there because Adrian turned his head to make sure, why this guy was behind him. I just remember him turning his head. And as he turned his head, that's when that first guy, the very vocal guy, the one that was staring at me from the club, hit Adrian. He hit him really hard, and this time it connected with his left temple. It hit him so hard, and he stumbled, and the one behind him pushed him forward so that first guy that hit him could get another swing at him, pushed him. And before I knew it, they were like just all on top of him. It was almost like they've done this before, like they've been in this kind of situation, that the way they just surrounded him. It was so fast, and they were all hitting him at the same time and kicking him. And I remember just screaming, stop, stop. And Adrian had let go of my arm, and I couldn't see him anymore. All I saw was these 3 big guys on top of him, and just pounding him and kicking him. And at one time I saw that Adrian had fallen, and they weren't even stopping. They just kept kicking him and hitting him. And I kept screaming, stop, you're going to kill him. And this wasn't having an effect on them. So I thought, if I just go up to the first guy, the one that was staring at me so much, maybe I could talk some sense into him. Maybe I could, tell him, hey, it's okay, please, whatever it is, we can work it out. So I went up to him, and I touched his shoulder just to get his attention, to talk to him. Maybe I could do something to stop this. So I touched him, and he turned around, looked me straight in the eye, right? And he said, you need a black dick. And he went and he swung with his left fist, and he was aiming straight in my face. Because the fist was coming. He's a pretty tall guy, and the fist is coming, and just my instinct told me, just move your face away. So I moved my face away, and the punch landed right here on my chest, right in my... I remember just taking my breath away, and I stumbled back. And I've never been hit like that before by anyone, by no man. So when he hit me like that, I wasn't expecting, I didn't know what to do. So I kind of stumbled back, and then I was speechless. I couldn't move. I couldn't move to go help Adrian. I couldn't move to go get help or anything. And so I thought, okay, Jordan's here. I'm just going to turn to her and tell her to go get help, go knock on the door, because right now the club, the doors are locked. when the club's closed, the doors are locked. That's why we couldn't even go back in when we had stepped out the first time. So I thought, okay, if I can just tell Jordan to go and get help, knock on the door, do something, call police. I turned around and I'm looking, Jordan is not there.